Now let's move on to the functions of an exchange. Right next to Sandton City is a big building called the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. This is not where the money is kept, and it's not where the shares are kept. The exchange acts as a facilitator in making sure that trades are tradable and they are guaranteed and they settle. The exchange has two main functions. Let's have a look at them. In a nutshell, the first function is it helps companies by raising capital in the primary market. The second function is allowing those shares to be traded in the secondary market. So an exchange, in essence, helps bring a company to the market, and then it helps to trade those shares. So the exchange can be seen as a facilitator by helping the trading of shares. What is a market? A market is just that. It is a place where a buyer and a seller come together and they exchange money for goods. An exchange is merely an organized market. Let us look at one of or few of the things that the exchange does. They guarantee transactions. They make price awareness available. So, for example, a private company if you wanted to determine the price of a private company, you'd have to do a valuation, there would have to be a due diligence, there would have to be a lot of work done by the accountants in the background. However, a listed company, the price is right there. You can see it. It's tradable. There's a buy and there's a sell. The exchange distributes information. How does it distribute information? Through SENS. What is SENS? SENS is a news announcement. Every public listed company has to divulge or tell the participants about its earnings through SENS. This makes sure that information around public companies is transparent. The exchange is governed by very, very stringent rules, and the main reason is to protect you and I as investors. The exchange also has a main function of ensuring that trades clear and settle. What does a trade clearing and settling means? It means that the money that is used to buy and sell shares actually ends up in those companies. And similarly, those shares end up in the investor's hands. So the whole process of clearing and settling is extremely important for an exchange because it makes sure that that process is uninhibited and actually guarantees settlement. An exchange allows for an orderly market. It protects in the interests of the investor through the regulation and ensuring that the trades are guaranteed and they settle. There are various exchanges around the world. For example, the New York Stock Exchange, the Tokyo Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange, and right here at home, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. Now, let's have a practical look to see how the exchange makes price awareness or price availability possible. Here we've got a central order book trading system. In this example, we're going to discuss a closing auction. Now, the exchange has various opening and closing periods. There's an opening auction, a closing auction, and there's time during the day where lots of trades take place. This example takes us through a closing auction. On the screen, we've got a central order book trading system. A central order book trading system is a very powerful computer that is managed and run by the exchange. A buyer puts in a price at which he's willing to buy. Hence, it's called a bid. An offer is the price at which a seller is willing to sell. Now, this example looks at a closing auction. This time is between 10 to 5 every day. Exchanges only operate on business days. They do not operate on weekends and public holidays. Humans and machines also need a break. The bid volume and the offer volume are levels or volumes at which a buyer and a seller are willing to participate. In this example, there is a buyer who's willing to buy 16,000 shares at a price of $14.85. On the other side, there's a seller who's willing to sell 10,000 shares at $14.85. Somewhere in this equation, there has to be a closing price that will be determined by the number of buyers and sellers. At $14.85, we have 20,400 shares that are available to buy, and at $14.85, we have 26,750 shares. So At closing price level, net, we will have a situation where 20,400 shares close at 14.85. The function of an auction is to make sure that there's an orderly close. As we had said before, the exchange makes sure that prices take or trade in an orderly manner, and a closing auction is just one of those mechanisms to make sure that we have an orderly closing price level.